Marshadow, Raikou, and Duskull. We're going to ban them from Gym Leader Challenge starting September 1st.
Well, looks like it's happening. We are losing 3 cards in Gym Leader Challenge. It was just recently announced, though there is not an official write-up just yet, that we are losing Duskull, Marshadow, and Amazing Rare Raikou starting September 1st of this year. Let's take a quick look at these 3 cards, and let's talk about why they're going away. First up, we've got Duskull. So Duskull is a Pokemon that once during your turn, you may discard 3 cards from your hand. Then you can search your deck for a card that evolves from this card and place it onto it. You might be looking at that and wondering, well, what are you evolving into that really makes this thing worthwhile to ban? And that's really because of a new Dusclops and Dusknoir that we just got recently in Shrouded Fables. Both of those have very similar abilities. Let's take a look at them real quick. So on Dusclops, you've got Curse Blast. Once during your turn, you may put 5 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If you use this ability, this Pokemon is knocked out. The Dusknoir has a very similar ability. It's literally the same thing. It just does 130 damage counters, or sorry, 13 damage counters instead of 5, meaning it's doing 130 damage once you place all those damage counters. Obviously, in a format like GLC, that's going to knock out a lot of Pokemon, especially stuff that you've just set up on your first turn, or potentially haven't even taken a turn. But what makes this combination really potentially broken is the support card Wally. So Wally reads, search your deck for a card that evolves from one of your Pokemon and put it onto this Pokemon. Shuffle your deck afterwards. You can use this card on Pokemon that were just put into play. So with Duskull, you've got the potential on your first turn to go straight from this basic right into a stage 2 that thing can then blow itself up and potentially knock your opponent out of the game. This was actually banned in Expanded very recently for a very similar reason. If we look at the statement from TCPI for why this was banned from Expanded, this is going to be my guess of why it's also banned from GLC. With the release of Dusclops and Shrouded Fable, it becomes very possible to win games on the first turn when going first by using Duskull's Spirit-born evolution ability to evolve into Dusclops. By getting enough Dusclops into play, players can use mini Curse Blast abilities to knock out their opponent's only Pokemon in play and win the game. There are many cards that you need to assemble this combo, but yada yada. Obviously you can't use multiple Duskull in GLC, but you really just need the one. Again, if your opponent only set up one Pokemon, which is pretty common, you can potentially just knock it out and win before your opponent even has the chance to go. So while it is kind of sad to see him go, do you think it makes sense so that your opponent can actually play the game rather than you just knocking them out before they've even got a chance? Next up on our list is Marshadow. And this is the one from Shining Legends. So it's got the ability, when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may have each player shuffle their hand into their deck and draw 4 cards. This is a pretty great ability on a Pokemon in general. Every Psychic player runs a Marshadow. I mean, why wouldn't you? Judge is a card that a lot of people play, which is a supporter that has the same effect. So why wouldn't you play a Pokemon that's essentially a supporter while still leaving your supporter slot open? What I think is really kind of unfair about this card, and this is actually a card that I've kind of been hoping is going to get a ban for a while, just because I watch a lot of my players playing, and it's just not fun when first turn going first, the Psychic player puts down Marshadow, and before you've even gotten a chance to do anything, you're already down to 4 cards. They got to play a bunch of cards, play down their Marshadow, then, draw 4 more cards, potentially play a couple more cards, and then you get to go and you're like, well, great. I have 4 cards to work with, plus the one that I drew. It's a really feel bad moment. And then there's many times where you can scoop up net this Marshadow later in the game to again get another judge-like effect while still having your supporter open for turn. So it kind of acts as a way to both limit your opponent's hand size while giving you extra draw, while leaving you open to Guzma or Boss or whatever other supporter that you want to use for turn. I think this one's kind of been a long time coming. I think it opens up a lot of very unfun gameplay potential because of this ability, and since it will work on the first turn. So I'm ultimately glad to see this one go. That's my expectation for why this is getting banned, but I will be interested to see the full explanation for why this one's going away. And then last but not least, we are losing the amazing rare Raikou from Vivid Voltage. This is one that I actually talked about recently in a video that I thought might be on the chopping block. I thought it was because of the Joltik that's coming out in Stellar Crown that was already an attacker that allowed you to search for a lot of energies from your deck and then attach them to your Pokemon any way you like. Some electric energy as well as some grass energy. But I'm going to guess what really throws it over the edge is the Magnetone that just got revealed from the new set, which I can't even remember the name of. Surging Sparks. Yeah, okay, Surging Sparks. So this is a set that's not coming out for a while, but this, again, Magnetone that's got revealed, it's going to be the promo card that's in the ATBs coming out for the set. So this is Overvolt Discharge, a little bit hard to read, but it says once during your turn, you may attach up to 3 basic energies from your discard pile to one of your electric Pokemon in any way you like. Does knock out the Magnetone when you use it, but you're powering up your Raikou with this ability alone if you've got all 3 of those energies in the discard. Or maybe you just have a couple energies in the discard to power up Raikou and put another energy somewhere else. Like there's a lot of versatility with this card. And considering Raikou pretty easily takes 2 prizes every single time it attacks, it's not that big a deal that you're giving up a prize by having this thing get knocked out. This is another one of those cards that, especially combined with that Joltik, gives you some really explosive potential with Amazing Rare Raikou. You could theoretically, in a game, start off with Joltik going second. You use that attack, power up your Raikou along with something else, with some energies. Then on your second turn, take 2 prizes with your Raikou by knocking out the active and one of the bench Pokemon. Then, assuming your opponent doesn't lose right there, they may manage to counterattack somehow, take out your Raikou. Later on in the game, you get your Magnetone set up. You get Raikou back onto the bench, with Revive or any number of ways to recover from the discard pile. Use Overbolt Discharge, repower that Raikou right back up, likely take another 2 prizes right then. So you've potentially taken 4 prizes in exchange for 2. And that's assuming they even responded in the first place to the Joltik. You can even set aside the Joltik. This thing alone potentially makes Raikou just overpowered. I already talked about Wally when talking about the Duskull. This is another target that you could easily use Wally for. So going second, get your Magnemite down, use your Wally to evolve right into a Magnetone, knock out your Magnetone with his ability to power up your Raikou if you've got everything in the discard, and then bam, you've taken 2 prizes. That potentially has already won you the game right then and there before your opponents really had much of a chance to do anything. That's my guess of why Raikou is getting banned. I do think they were likely going to give the Joltik a little bit of chance, but I think the combination between this Magnetone and the Joltik, or even potentially just the Magnetone itself, it's going to be my guess of why they went ahead and decided preemptively Amazing Rare Raikou's gotta go. This is one that I'm definitely sadder to see go. I really like the Amazing Rare cards. This the second one that we are losing in GLC. Poor Creo Gray got knocked out a while ago and put it onto the ban list. And, we can always maybe use Amazing Rare Rayquaza or the Amazing Rare Celebi. I guess Amazing Rare Reshiram is still around too. So there's a couple of options for the Amazing Rares if you still want to use those in GLC. But unfortunately, we're losing another really good one. Anyway, that's really all for this video. I might give an update once we get the official statement, especially if those are a little bit different from my expectations for why these cards are getting banned. But let me know, what do you think of these 3 cards getting banned? Do you think this is going to be good for GLC? Are you sad to see these cards go? Is there anything else that you think should be getting banned, or something else that you should have gotten banned instead of these? Let me know down in the comments below. Besides that, make sure you give the video a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.